Okay guys, back again, and I'm going to pick up where I just left off with the last video, answering some more of your questions. And uh, again, feel free to, in the comments, please leave more because y'all have been doing an amazing job with some of the questions you're leaving. A lot of it really inspires me, makes me remember things, gives me ideas for stuff that's really important that I want to cover with you. But where I want to pick off, somebody asked, did I have any advice for disabled people doing magic? And what they meant by disabled was like physically disabled, where they literally, the person asking us literally cannot get up and walk. And they were asking, what do you do in that situation when you're doing things like, honestly, the core of magic is the pentagram and hexagram rituals. Yes, there are other things that you can learn, everything from the middle pillar exercises to astral projection to energy work of various sorts to creating elixirs and tinctures and alchemy and all this. But the core of high magic, astrotheurgy, are pentagram and hexagram rituals, because that is how we invoke these energies into ourselves. When you learn these rituals, like the one that you kind of have to start with, the foundation ritual of all of ceremonial magic, is the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram. And if you do it in its sort of backwards form or in its reverse form, you're doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, where you're pushing energy out of a place and just blasting it with divine energy so that you're sort of purifying the area. When you're doing the invoking ritual, you're pulling energy into the area and into you. If you don't put it into something, like a talisman or someone for healing or whatever it is, what happens is your aura absorbs the energy that you invoke into that area. But, normally whenever you do this, when you first start learning this ritual, you're doing it by walking around the room physically. You walk to the eastern wall and you draw a pentagram here, and then you draw the line connecting it around to the southern wall, and then you draw an invoking pentagram on the southern wall, and then walk around to the western wall and draw an invoking pentagram there. And you're doing it all around the room, so that you have walked around the room and you basically have drawn a circle of white light, and in the four directions you have a pentagram, or if you're doing a hexagram ritual, you're doing the hexagram. So what do you do if you can't walk around? Well, basically you have to jump to the next step. The next step after you learn doing those rituals with your physical body is you learn to do them without your physical body. You get a feel for what the energy work you're doing, how it's going to feel to you, how you're going to perceive it whenever you're up moving around. What I found is that when I do it outside, or when I don't use my physical body, you can do this as a meditation technique. I had a friend who was traveling all the time. He was in a band. He was on tour sometimes for months at a time, and he said the only way he could do these rituals, because he had no privacy, he had no space, he said he would have to lay down and do them just in his mind. You can do them just mentally, or you can also do them astrally, where you're literally projecting when you're doing them. But what you do is you envision yourself, you imagine yourself standing in the room where you would be doing the ritual if you could get up and walk around. And while you're envisioning this, don't just do it like you're seeing it, try to feel it. Like, what is the floor in that room like? Remember what the floor is like, and envision how that floor, is it a hardwood floor? Is it carpet? Is it a concrete floor? Try to feel that floor beneath your feet while you're picturing it in your mind. Go over and try to feel the walls. What do the walls feel like? Are they brick? Are they wood? Are they plaster? Are they drywall? What does that feel like beneath your hand if you were to rub your hands over those walls? even though you're visualizing it, you want to add as much sensation to it as you possibly can. And you go through the process exactly like you would do it if you were using your body. For example, while you're visualizing, you visualize yourself, and don't see it like you're seeing it from the outside, like you're looking at yourself. Do it like you are actually there and feeling it. You inhale and draw in chi, draw in light, draw in energy from the universe through you and into the earth, and see the earth completely fill up beneath your feet. And then you use that light, you let it come spilling back up through you, through your hands, and into the pentagram. So you've drawn the pentagram first, you inhale, fill the earth up with light, and then draw the invoking pentagram. And then you inhale and fill the earth up with light, and thrust your fingers through your right hand. This is called the sword mudra. And you can use this for defense, you can use it for all sorts. It's basically for projecting energy. It's a mudra for projecting energy, but we thrust our arm into the center of the pentagram, and whenever you stab your fingers through the center of the pentagram, you feel all of that light come rushing back up through you and into the pentagram, and see it blaze even lighter. And then you inhale and fill the earth up with light, and use that light to draw the line, to draw a white line over to the next wall, and then repeat the process. So you've drawn these pentagrams all around you. Basically do it the way that I wrote about it in High Magic, but don't do it with your physical body. Just visualize yourself and try to feel it while you're doing it. Does it have all of the effects of doing it with your physical body? Yes, but with one exception. The reason we do this with our physical body is because we want to draw the energy down through every single level of reality. We want to draw it down through the mental level, through the astral level, through the emotional level, all the way down. We want to bring every part of our being into the process. Whenever you do that, do it with your physical body, or whenever you don't do it with your physical body, what is happening is you get the benefits on every single level, except perhaps the physical. Yes, it can leak down into the physical, and you'll be able to tell some physical benefits by it. And what I mean by physical benefits is it's just like you get this overall feeling of vitality, and you're recharged, and you're rejuvenated, you're emotionally light, upbeat, all those sorts of things. You don't suffer depression and despair, but you can get all of these things except the physical aspect of it by doing this. So if you can do it physically, that's the reason we do, but it's also very, very important to learn to do it without the body, without doing it physically, because there will be times whenever you can't do it physically. There will be times when, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, you won't be able to do it physically, whether it's because you're on an airplane flying somewhere, or because you're in a house where you don't have any privacy, there's too many people that live there, whatever it is. There will be times whenever this will come in really, really helpful, not only if you're physically disabled. Not only that, but you can also use it for other things once you master it. For example, one of the things that I did with it was, you know, when I was in prison and they would deny my appeals, like every appeal I would file, they would deny it no matter what the evidence was. And a huge reason for that was the Attorney General. You know, he didn't want to admit he had made a mistake. And one time after they denied my appeal yet again, bringing me one step closer to death, I think at that point I was 6 months away from an execution date. I had 6 months to go before they killed me. I decided it was like I got angry, that sort of righteous anger where you think, I am taking back what you took from me. I am going to take back from you the 20 years you have stolen from me. So I went to the Attorney General and placed my hands on him through this visualization process, and I would inhale into my tip arrest center, and every time I inhaled, I would pull as much energy out of him as I possibly could. All the energy, he had built his career off of my life force. I would take it all back from him. Every time I would inhale, I would pull it in, and I would see his aura deflate, almost like one of those juice boxes when you suck on the straw and the sides crunch in. I took everything back from him that I possibly could. Within 6 months, his career was completely destroyed, his family disintegrated, and he ended up disappearing in shame. Not too long after that, we got out of prison. So my point is, doing things without your physical body can be incredibly, incredibly powerful, incredibly effective, and life-changing. However, if you can, you want to use your physical body just because it brings in an extra level to the process. Okay, guys, I've got a lot more questions to go. I hope you're well. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you back here tomorrow.